This is Craig. I play for DU Football. I know both Sams personally. I don't even listen to this fucking show. This is the DU Football Show.
Classy, Craiger. Really well done.
Didn't bother to come to the game last weekend either. Or last week, I mean.
Well, I mean, does he really play for the team? I would say he spends most of the time on the ground flopping looking for fouls.
Fair enough. Neymar Jr.
And since we're
third.
And since we're talking shit about him and he doesn't listen to the fucking show, he'll have no idea.
Yeah, that's great.
So with that being said, let's start the show. Hello and welcome to Drunken United Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. As I start the show, I've got these two fucking asshats looking at me, shaking their head and fucking with me when they know the moneymaker needs to do the fucking intro. I'm Sam Houston. That fucking idiot over there is Samuel Graham. How you doing, Sammy?
Not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, and I'm not, all the mute button. You're not allowed to talk yet. You sit there and give me all the weird looks and stuff. So,
it's just three different cadences the last 3 weeks in a row.
Well,
To let's start the show.
Daddy's working on different ways to hit the post. You don't just score with your head. Sometimes you score on a shot. Sometimes you score with your left foot. Sometimes you score with your right. Sometimes you score with a bicycle kick. But all I know is each time, I don't know how long you're going to go, so I need to play off that.
All right. And I don't appreciate my comment about him hitting the post getting cut a couple of weeks ago during the silence.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Because
now it's gone to his fucking head. If you had left it in there, it might have kept his feet on the ground a little bit.
Look, at the end of this month, I mean, literally within a month and a half, we're gonna have new intro music. We're gonna have to learn a whole different way to hit
That's
the post.
right. Yeah, you're right. We'll be fucked up again for another 18 months.
Exactly. We're recording at Studio H, just outside our nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe where you review where you can, subscribe, and share with your footballing friends, or just share with a friend in general. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Sam, why don't you tell the good people how they can get in touch?
Absolutely. You can find us on all the social medias at DUfootballshow. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So not all of them, but those three. You can email us in at DUfootballshow@gmail.com if you would like to send us an email. And also, we did have some correspondence through our DMs, which we do check. So I just wanted to make sure that we included this DM and in a new segment to start the show.
Okay.
That's been suggested by one of our listeners.
Okay.
This is from Taylor.
The man with gold.
Since you guys only have 4 games to review this week, I assume you'll be looking for topics to help pad the show. I think he wrote this before Chris Wilder and Sermon had their fight.
Even I know there's only 3 games.
Oh, what are you talking about? We've got nothing but Everton talk for the next fucking hour, baby.
He also wrote this before Manchester City's game got postponed due to Hurricane Sierra or whatever that was. Help pad the show. Maybe you could do a segment on what a fantastic guy that Son Heung-min is. And his suggestion is call the segment, "Oh, so that happens to be a bunch of bullshit." I would rather call that segment Saint Son.
Saint Son. Well, because, he's such a nice, lovely guy.
He is such a nice guy.
He's such an inspiration to the children out there, isn't he?
Yeah. FA Cup goal to his name on a perfectly legitimate penalty.
Yes, of course. Very legitimate penalty. Not soft at all. Didn't go down easily at all. Wasn't already past the keeper and could have just tapped it in, but chose to fall. No, not at all. Definitely a penalty. In fact, I'm surprised the keeper didn't receive a red for last defender. I was very shocked by that.
Well,
don't worry, Taylor. We're going to give you penises, rooms in a house, a fight, and a pitch invader in this episode. So we got lots of shit to talk about.
It's just one penis.
That sounds like injury time.
Yes.
But if you stared at that penis doing the motion it was doing, it looked like multiple.
Why, yes, it did. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Sammy, what are we sipping on tonight?
Sure, we are drinking the Lost Distillery Company. This is the Benachie Distillery.
Sounds more Italian.
Comes in at 86 proof. It's in the Highlands in Aberdeenshire, which is just outside of Aberdeen, if you couldn't have guessed.
Yeah, no shit.
It's a marriage of aged single malts. There is no age statement to this whiskey. The founder was William Smith, who was a farmer, a distiller, and a preacher. Because like anyone knows, booze brings you closer to God.
Yes.
This distillery was opened in 1822, and then it closed in 1913, thus the name of the company, the Lost Distilleries.
Right.
On the palate here, you'll have a little bit of fruitcake, tangerine, herbs, and vanilla. And I do get a little bit of that brininess, like I told you before. So it's an excellent little whiskey. It really is. And it's going to run you somewhere between, I'd say, about $59.99 to $66.99.
Yeah. For the price point, it's a good little whiskey, and you typically have this. Some people call it independent bottlers or contract bottlers. In a lot of instances, what'll happen is, we've talked about Gordon MacPhail before, where they like just flat out have relationships with distilleries. Well, a lot of other independent bottlers, what they'll do is they'll just go around to old warehouses and they'll be like, "What you got?
Yep,
I'll buy it up from you, and I'll put it out there," because a whiskey distillery is still going to be producing whiskey and aging whiskey. And then, one day they suddenly close their doors. There's a shit ton of whiskey in that building.
Well, the other thing these people do too, which is kind of cool, is like even if they found like an old recipe, they'll take it to a distillery in that region and be like, "Hey, can you make this for us?"
Oh, very cool.
So you get essentially fresh juice from that. Now they may only do one. And I think they really do only do one batch of each, but this should still be in the market.
Yeah. Now, if you want to compare that to a American distilleries, you saw the Orphan Barrel project that Diageo did. That's exactly kind of the same idea, but barrels that aren't really, old barrels that aren't around anymore. So let's get to it. Let's have a great show, kids.
Everybody drink responsibly.
How about that? All right. So we only had 4 games. One of them got postponed. And not often, Sam, do I get to make it all about me. So here we go. Everton 3, Crystal Palace 1. Don't look now, Sammy. Everton's in 7th.
Who?
Exactly. Further up the table than you are.
Very true. Very, very fucking true.
Our prospects of Europe are better than yours.
Yeah. So overall, you guys played really well in this one. I actually was surprised to find out as I was going through some of the stats for this game that Palace actually outpossessed you.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Especially in the second half.
Yeah.
Right before they got their goal, then the goal, and then about a good 10 minutes after that, there was a lot. They really held
They were
possession.
turning the screw.
Oh, big time.
But they only had 2 official attempts on target because hitting the post doesn't count as a shot on target.
Right. It's a shot, but not a shot on target.
Right, which they did twice.
Yep. Early in the first half, too.
Yep. And one of them, yes. And then one of them in that spell just after just after they scored. But have to start off. What a cross from Theo Walcott. Give him a lot of shit. Great feat to get past Patrick Van Aanholt. And then just a beauty of a cross. I love the sideline camera from behind Theo. And you can see the shape of the ball. Goalkeeper takes that half step. Shit, I can't get there. It's tailing away from me.
Yep.
And Bernard on a full volley just strokes it, side foots it to the back of the net. Got enough power on it, but you could be forgiven for going after it with your laces and just trying to fucking murder somebody.
Right.
And he didn't. He just produced a little bit of Brazilian magic. Well,
that's typically what a shooter will do, is try to hit it with the laces, and almost, I'd say, 8 out of 10 times that ball rolls off the foot incorrectly and goes well wide or skies over.
Yep.
The fact that he just literally went, I'm going to pass it into the back of the net.
Well, and he still got plenty on it. The pace at which the ball was traveling at him, so the connection was always going to produce some amount of pace.
Yeah.
But the ball was past Guaita before he even left his feet.
It's like baseball. Let the bat do the work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like golf. It's like every sport we're not very good at.
Unfortunately, though, he saw a little bit of a knock, which
Theo Walcott did.
Yeah, which brings us to the most important point: is when one is getting ready to play in a professional soccer match, one should make sure that they are fully dressed. Jabril Sidibe. Did you see that bit?
Yes, I did.
Where he's wearing only one sock. One sock. He had to run. Yes. The producer Mel just looked at us with big eyes. Yes, he got up to the fourth official. They held up the board for getting ready to hold up the board for him to get plugged in to go.
No, they held the board up because Theo Walcott had to come off.
And he looked down and was missing a sock. Ancelotti could not have rolled his eyes or his eyebrow harder.
Ancelotti's a really relaxed guy.
He's just like, the fuck?
You got to get dressed.
You see the vein. Sorry there. You see the vein in Dunk's head about to explode.
Oh, yeah. What I wrote about, I said Walcott then got injured and Sidibe came on. Well, eventually came on because he forgot his fucking sock. That's right. Just one.
Yep.
Just one.
Just one sock.
Just
he
one
had,
sock.
He had one sock, but he didn't have the other one.
Well, you know what it is. He probably put his one sock on, and then Ancelotti walked in the changing room getting ready to go over tactics. And he got distracted and started listening. Because the other thing that a lot of Premier League footballers do, which was pointed out on another show that we listened to, is they'll cut their sock off, like the bottom part of their sock, and almost wear the club sock like a sleeve, and then wear like a special athletic sock underneath.
Right.
That has grip on the bottom.
Right. That
so they don't
fits the
slide
shoe
around
better.
in their boots.
Right.
Yeah. So it might be thicker, whatever, or not as tight. Because they are now basically like compression socks. So they only wear the calf portion up to the knee. You know what I mean? Like high ankle up to the knee. They cut the foot out. So I wouldn't surprise me if he just slipped the sock on, and then Ancelotti walked in. He's like, "Oh shit, I better listen."
Yeah.
And then just walked out to the fucking bench, completely left it sitting there.
So we'll go ahead and we'll get to the Pickford gaffe in just a second, but I kind of want to collectively talk about the 2 goals. I'll let you talk about the gaffe. That's fine, because I'm sure you've got lots of pot shots to make. And
Pickforded.
Yes. So and there you had your chance to wait to do
Nope.
it, but no.
Okay. I had to get it in.
Very good. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores a poacher's goal. Richarlison scores a counterattack goal. You got to really like seeing that from your 2 strikers.
Yes.
You're starting. They're flowing all over the pitch together. They're learning kind of what to do,
and
be in the right spots.
It was Calvert-Lewin's flick that sent Richarlison away.
Yep.
And then another piece of Brazilian magic there. I mean, to sort his feet out that quickly, keep his balance after he cut it. It was one little touch, half a step, and then strike.
Yeah.
And I think completely caught Guaita off guard because he hit it so early.
Oh no, they none of them were expecting him to shoot. They thought there was one more touch.
There was one more touch.
They did not expect when he made the cut.
I mean, what was it? Milivojevic that was sliding back.
Yeah.
I think he slid like way too late.
Oh yeah.
Like wasn't even close to where he was going to be. He was and far away from him as well, because I think he was expecting another touch inside.
Yep.
And then Calvert-Lewin's goal was Richarlison on the header from the corner.
That hit the pipe.
It was kind of a looping header, hit the pipe, and Calvert-Lewin just found himself by himself.
Right.
Okay.
And hell, he should have had another one. He missed one right at the end.
He missed the sitter towards the end, yeah.
They're finding ways to score. They're making the right adjustments throughout a game. But like you said, Pickford, you can't get past that.
It was a fairly tame shot as well.
Now, in that moment, that time of pressure after the goal,
the first goal,
after Benteke's goal, where Palace really put the screws on. Then what ended up happening? Pickford ended up making a brilliant fucking save right off the line.
So it was Bernard. Nothing else the rest of the half.
Yep.
Benteke scored
pretty early
off some Pickford bullshit.
Yep.
Then Richarlison's counterattack. Then next time down, Benteke. There's I can't remember who it was that crossed it into. I think it was Zaha. Maybe crossed it in.
Yeah.
And Benteke with a great header had it. Instead of it being straight, had it been 6 inches to the right, had he glanced it at all, would have been in the back of the net.
Right.
But Pickford got over well, made himself big, and it just kind of hit off his chest.
Yep.
And was able for one of his defenders to clear.
Yeah. Before that save, the last 5 chances Pickford had seen had all been goals.
Right.
So that's concerning.
Oh, yeah.
Very concerning. And we talked about this one when I was out of town when I called in. Just, I'm not 100% sold on him. And
I
if
think
somebody,
he could
if
lose
somebody,
his England job.
He could. I think it would be to Pope.
And Nick
if he-
Pope, I was say Nick
Yeah.
Pope's playing very well, and Aaron Ramsdale's playing very
Yeah.
well for Bournemouth.
Yeah, Ramsdale.
He's been hung out to dry a lot.
Yeah, but
he's
I-
made some big saves.
But I also don't think right before the Euros they're going to throw Ramsdale in the net.
No, I don't think they will either.
It'll be Pickford, but if Pickford fucks up on the big stage in the group stages of Europe, they'll go to Pope real fucking fast because
Yeah.
Pope will at least make the saves.
The other thing that Pickford's in there for though is his distribution. He does have fantastic distribution.
Yep. I want to talk a little bit about Palace, but I figured the best way to talk about Palace is to call our boy Brad and ask him a few questions. We're going to still do more on the game afterwards.
Yeah, I would say while that's ringing though, Guaita made a fantastic save off of Gylfi,
Both of them did.
getting the claw up to it.
Hey, Brad, you there?
Hey.
What's going on, brother?
Nothing good.
Oh, no. For your team right now, absolutely nothing good.
Brad, how's it going, buddy? Nemesis number 2.
Hey, how are you?
You doing well?
Yeah.
Good to hear from you, man.
You too, bud.
So let's we're not going to get too much into the game. I'd rather kind of talk about state of Palace as a whole.
Cool.
So the start of the season, leading up basically until the end of the month of December, I got to imagine you as a fan was happy as hell, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were doing well, but look, we didn't do anything in the summer, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, we were playing well, and it's because of Roy. I mean, you give him a bunch of people that can go out there and run, and he tells them what to do, and they'll do it. But we didn't even have a full roster when the season started. And while he can work some miracles, he's rigid as hell. So he's going to find the 11 guys that will put in a shift and use them over and over and over again until they drop. And we all knew they would start dropping, and they did. So, he's been a manager in pro football across Europe for 40 years. And 2 years ago, he said, this is the worst injury crisis I've ever seen. And now he's saying it again. So we can't be shocked about it. But when you get to December and you're playing those festive fixtures and you're started the season with not enough players, and now you've got 9, 10, 11 guys hurt, and you're a team like Palace, a club like Palace with the budget that we have, what do you think's going to happen?
True. Now, that the other thing that leads me into the next thought process about the lineup, and you've kind of hit the nail on the head already talking about the injuries and everything. Fielded the oldest team to ever play in a Premier League match this past Saturday. That's got to be a touch concerning as a supporter of the team.
Well, it beat the record set by the Palace lineup the week before because they were all 1 week earlier. 1 week older. They were all a week older than they were. What was really scary about it? Guess who the youngest player was in that lineup?
Was it Wilfred, I think, at 26, right?
It was Wilf Zaha, yeah.
And at 20,
that's our youngster.
Yeah, at 26, that's kind of considered prime of a player's career.
And your youngster that wants to leave.
That's been that everybody's thought was going to be gone for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So,
I mean, I think it's partially down to you guys being. I don't want to say stingy because you're supposed to be. That sounds derogatory, but I don't mean it that way. You want every penny you can get for him because you're going to need to offer something to replace him, right? And as you should. I'm not trying to be rude about that for once.
Well, obviously, when we get that money, we're going to do great stuff with it, like we did with Wan-Bissaka.
Oh yeah, so much good stuff with that Wan-Bissaka money.
Brought in Shank Tosun for. Come on, man. Have some respect.
No, let us remember. That's a loan.
Look, exactly. There's a lot of teams that do that, right? And you want to get everything out of it, but you also have to remember a lot of teams do that with players that they've only had for 2 years or whatever. Wilf's he came up through our academy. He loves Palace too. He wants to go. He wants to see what he can do. at a bigger club, but he's not, he's not tortured there. The only reason he's unhappy right now is because whether it's the American owners or because they want to build the academy and the new stand, whatever's happening, they're not spending they're not going out and spending money to get the players on the field, which is extremely disappointing because they were close. If you look at the calendar year of 2019, they had the fourth most points of any team in the Premier League, which is stunning. If you look at who they had and what they were doing, you wouldn't think anything like that.
No.
But they were that close. So if you have Zaha and you just need to add one more piece, maybe two, and push for this second half of this season, it's fine. You didn't do it in the summer. Pick somebody up. Pick up two guys. When we go into this window, we were in 7th place, 8th place. We're right there. You got a shot, right? And if you don't do anything, Zaha's going to be gone this summer. If you want him around, put a little bit in. Show him a little ambition, and maybe you get to keep the guy. He's your best player ever. He's your fans' favorite player ever. You're not going to get what you could have gotten for him a year or two ago.
Oh no,
we know that.
Now his
fair
price
enough.
tag goes down. His price tag definitely goes down.
Honestly, I'd probably put him somewhere between 40 and 60, where you easily could have gotten 80 for him.
Right.
Yep.
So now your best bet is to get some money and a player, some money and a player or two, which in a way is better for us because Manchester United gets some of the money we get anyway. They have a sell-on clause.
Oh, okay.
So, there's a chance maybe Chelsea loves dealing with us. He wants to stay in London. Maybe you get somebody like Batshuayi in a deal, which is great, but he was great for us because he was with Zaha.
I would say true, right. Who's going to give him the service at that point? He's not one that goes and creates on his own.
Exactly.
So, another thought here. Looking at the team now, granted, we've established older squad.
Yep.
Why can't you score? And I don't just want the excuse to be because we don't have a striker. Because you look on the wings, you have Jordan Ayew and you have Wilfried Zaha. And you have two exceptionally talented, very capable wingers that most teams in the Premier League, I mean, minus obviously the huge clubs, would love to have those two as their wingers.
Sure.
But at the start of the season as well, Jordan Ayew was playing through the middle.
That's right.
And playing well through the middle.
Yep.
But then, again, injuries. He was forced out wide to fill a slot because they had Benteke. Because they had, other players that could step in. Connor Wickham, they got on loan back from Sheffield Wednesday, who they sold him to.
Well, don't worry. Jordan Pickford, Christian Benteke finally broke his duck, so he'll be okay.
But then you have Andros Townsend out too. So now you have
that's huge. That's what forced Ayew back out on the wing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you bring in Tosin as a striker. Everton didn't even want him as a striker. And and then he gets hurt.
Right.
So we need strikers. We all know that, right?
Hey,
and then we come into this window saying, okay, we need two things. We need a right back because we sold Wan-Bissaka and we still haven't done a thing with those funds. And we came into the season with one right back on the roster. And we need a striker because we can't score goals. Benachie's been hurt most of the year. We come out of the window with fewer players on our roster than we went into the window with, including loaning out one of our strikers. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Now, the last thing I kind of want to touch point on is now, unfortunately, you've plummeted down the table. This has not been the end of the holidays, and then January has just not been good to you guys lately.
Yeah.
A lot of draws, which is fine. That
we haven't won in this decade.
Yeah, exactly. But your next 4 games have you hosting Newcastle, at your non-rivals Brighton, at home with Watford, and then off to Bournemouth. I think we're going to know exactly what kind of team you are by the end of those 4 games. Will you be in a relegation fight, or will you have figured out your way to kind of do your comfortable 11th place that you like to do?
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Or as I said the other day, we'll do our typical Palace and we'll lose 3 of those and then beat Liverpool. So,
yeah.
But I mean, I think you're right. If we're gonna feel any bit of safety, if we're not going to be nervous throughout the spring, we're going to have to do something in those 4 games, right? Especially because there's 2 of those are 6-pointers, right? You got to keep 2 of those teams down there.
Oh, absolutely.
The one thing you have going for you, in my opinion, at least, looking at the table currently, you've got West Ham on 24 points, Watford on 24 points, and then Norwich on 18 points. You're sitting in 14th on 30, so obviously you're there or thereabouts. That being said, we're in 10th on 31, my boys. But
game in hand.
I know for sure that West Ham, Watford, and Norwich are worse than Arsenal. So effectively, I'm safe.
Right.
I still believe that those 3 clubs in particular are still worse than you. So you could very much pull a Brighton, and Brighton do a Brighton from last season as well, where it's not necessarily down to you. It's up to those 3 clubs to drag themselves out of it. And if you 2 give them every opportunity, it's can they get over the line? And I don't see it. I don't see it from any of those 3 teams.
And I especially don't see it from those bottom 2. And then look at who West Ham still has to play. Look at their next
exactly. Their roster, their schedule. I'm sorry, is horrendous.
Oh, for the next 5
brutal.
is really bad. So, just then, final question: do you think you figure it out? Do you think you stay up?
Not mutually exclusive. I am not sure we figure it out, but I do think we stay up. I think we'll play a little better. Yeah. I mean, we're starting to get people back. I'm concerned that Townsend is back and he's been training and didn't play at all this weekend. I didn't understand that. But I do think that out of these next 4, I mean, we haven't won since Boxing Day. We're going to win something in that stretch. Guaita is going to steal a game at some point. He's too good not to do that.
Yeah, but isn't he also good enough to walk a ball into the back of the net as well?
So he's been here for 2.5 years. That was his first mistake that led to a goal. If you look at the goal keeping statistics, he's far and away been the keeper that has been the most valuable.
I was going to say mine's given it away like 5-6 times.
Well, he's got those little teeny tiny hands.
Those little T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, little Trumpo hands.
I mean, he let Benachie score from open play. Come on. That guy's
I was going to say, I misspoke earlier. Connor Wickham went on loan from you to Sheffield.
From Palace too.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Again.
But Shank Tosun and Christian Benteke for Palace have the same amount of goals in the last 19 games.
Fabulous.
1.
No, you can go more than 19 games. I don't think when did he score last year?
No,
Keep going.
He did score 1, I think. But I think he scored 1 towards the end of last season. But in the last 3 years at Palace, or whatever it's been, 2.5, 3 years, whatever it was, Christian Benteke has had single-digit goals.
Oh,
yeah.
And
he had 17 the first year.
Yeah, that's not obviously a great return.
But
now that he has broken that duck, and it was from open play this time, do you think it's floodgates?
It's floodgates. He's going back to 2000. He's going to be like at Aston Villa.
His Villa days when he was the scoring machine.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Yeah. No, not at all.
You going to? Did you go to church Sunday?
Pray for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not happening. He might get 2 more this year. How about that?
There you go. There's
That's
something.
All right. Realistic. I like that. Realistic expectations.
All right, Brad. We're gonna let you go. Definitely, we need to figure out a time where I can make it out to Virginia and catch a game with you and the DC supporters. Okay.
Sounds good.
If I'm invited to this little love fest, I'd love to come too. But
You're in. You'll like it. There's lots of Arsenal supporters sitting across the bar. So
awesome! I'll
You'll
go
have
sit
fun.
with them.
We'll
and
let
then
we'll
point
let
at you and
him
laugh.
we'll let him go over there, and then they'll all sit there and go me 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 me.
everybody wins.
Yeah, exactly. Talk to you soon, Brad.
Thanks,
All right,
buddy.
Up the palace.
All right.
Always nice to hear from him.
Exactly. Well, I figured, we're only talking 3 games this week, and we're going to go long on my segment because for once I got lots of time to talk about my team.
Better be
And
careful.
I figured, yeah, true.
We have a humdinger at the end.
Very much so. So we're both Palace and Everton are kind of in the same boat. The next 4 games is going to say a lot about them.
In that respect,
yes.
But you all are on the up; they're on the slide.
Right. Well, and they're facing some teams towards the bottom half of the table, which is really going to determine where they finish up.
Yeah, fair enough. Exactly.
Our next 4 is we are now right in the hunt of not just Europe, but Chelsea's fallen behind, and there's a shot at Champions League as well, which is just unthinkable considering where we were when we lost 5-2 to Liverpool in the first derby at Anfield back in December.
Yeah.
Our next 4 have us at Arsenal, Manchester United at home, at Chelsea, and then the derby at Goodison against Liverpool.
Right. But remember, the winter break. This is all what you just said is for week 27.
Right. Right. Not next
so
week.
this coming weekend is still 26.
Right.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, because if
knows.
Chelsea wins their game, they would be, instead of right now they're only 2 points ahead of Sheffield. If they win the game, they'll be 5 points ahead of Sheffield.
Right.
So still, and like Wolverhampton could win their game and jump in front of us, and Manchester could beat Chelsea and jump in front of us. So there's still moving parts, but the point is it's a lot closer than we thought it was.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing, the reason I said that is, how crazy it gets over the holiday season.
Absolutely.
And we can't keep shit straight. We don't know what we're doing. And we got 20 games to recap and this, that, the other.
Yeah.
Now it's the slow time, the real slow time. So now it's like we're drooling on it. Oh, we got time for that.
Yeah, exactly.
We got time for that. We got, and then we just can't keep it straight anyway.
So what do you think? Do you think there's some results in those next 4 for Everton?
I think we'll probably draw.
Yeah, because we can't beat you in your building.
At the Emirates, you do not have a good record.
No, never do.
But we aren't good still, necessarily. We are working harder, though. I think we will match your intensity.
The way we're starting to counter with the way your defense...
It could be bad.
That could
now,
be bad.
What is good is we did get some cover at center back with that Brazilian bloke coming in.
Mm-hmm.
The younger Brazilian bloke, not David Luiz.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also got... what's his name? Cedric from Southampton, who's a decent player.
Right.
Could play on the right or the left. We're obviously short on left backs at the moment.
We're not talking about your team. Just tell me if we think it's going to be a draw, right? Okay, let's move on to the next thing. So, you're going to get to talk about your team next week, jackass. We're talking about my team.
You know
You're
what?
not hijacking it.
Injury time is going to be real long tonight.
Cool, that's fine.
I'm going to go player by player for that game.
So Man U at Goodison, I think, could be a win, right? Chelsea at the Bridge is going to be tough, but we also beat Chelsea.
What? Is that the one we're there for?
That's the one we're there for.
Oi.
Yep. And then the derby is the derby. Throw it all out the window. It could be 1-1. It could be 0-0. It could be 8-0 Liverpool. You never know.
You never know.
Derby.
Yeah.
It could be Everton hands Liverpool their one and only defeat of the season. I mean, you don't know with the derby.
Well, but let's be realistic for a second. Liverpool's going to trot the kids out just to rub salt in the wounds and win the Premier League with an average age of 16 and a half.
Just to be pricks.
Yeah.
and then Klopp's going to try to run out in the middle of the field. And
No, he
be a
will
jack
run
off.
out in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And jack off. He'll do both.
All right. So then that being said, we're going to learn a lot from Everton in these next 4.
On a serious note, we absolutely will.
Yeah.
Yes. Fair enough.
And it doesn't mean necessarily that Everton's bad. It just we just know if what Ancelotti has to work with, can he get them to Europe? The prospect at the start of the season with Silva, with the tools that we had, was this team should be competing for Europe.
Right.
So,
and you really didn't bring in anyone in January for real.
No.
Not of any note, at least.
Not at all.
And no one that's been playing.
Right.
At the very least.
And we're getting healthier.
You're getting healthier, right? So it's almost like having new signings, to be honest.
Andres Gomez is slated to be ready to play against Arsenal.
better be careful.
Yeah.
Got Terrera in there
Yeah.
on a lot of rest.
Yeah,
He's going to
yeah.
have a lot of energy.
Right. Yeah, but Terrera will just
fuck you.
yeah, Terrera will just foul him cleanly, as opposed to Son, where he'll chase him down the field like a pissed off ex-scorned lover to try to crack his legs.
You truly missed an opportunity to compare two Uruguayans.
I know.
But that's
I
fine.
did. Let it be. Let it be. I mean, we can't. I mean, I understand.
It's rare doesn't go around biting people.
We want to call them all teething racists, but we don't know that as a fact. So we're going to leave it there.
We do about one of them.
Finally, big thing to note is Goodison is the gift that keeps on giving. Last year, we had the Black Goodison cat. We had the trash-talking ball boy that gave Klopp a bunch of crap. Big Dunks Hugapalooza with the Chelsea
That
game.
started the trend of
Oh, it's so fabulous. Right?
inappropriately hugging ball boys.
And now we have the most adorable pitch invader ever. A little, I mean, could be no older than 6 years old, maybe 5, 6 years old, right at the end of the game. Pops in the corner of the field, grabs him by his arms, lifts him right up over top of the barrier, puts his feet on the ground, and that little kid was off to the races. Outran the stewards. You watch the video. He outruns the stewards. Beeline right towards Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin just looks down. Little tiny kid in front of him. He's like, okay. Takes off his shirt, hands it to him. The stewards, I mean, should be like, taking this felon and cuffing him up and throwing him in
felon.
the... Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No, they just take him by the hand and they walk him back to his dad.
Good.
The only way you are ever going to get away with a pitch invasion. Ever.
You know what? Here's I have a little anecdote to that. My daughter made her school basketball team.
Yep.
The first game, they can only dress 12, but there's 15 on the squad. She's only been at one practice that week. She was sick a couple days for school, so she didn't go to school, didn't go to practice, didn't get picked for the game. Fine. She was better, though, the day the game was played, and you're a member of this fucking team. We're going to the game. So I rearranged my day, got off work early, took her to the game. We sat on the side and watched her team. The fucking kids got shut out in basketball.
Shut out.
33-0. Here's the problem. Where those stewards were lovely human beings, seeing this 5, 6-year-old and saying, hey, well done. You got your shirt. Let's go back to your dad. Not taking names, not taking anything. Probably knowing the father willingly put his child unsupervised to run onto the pitch.
Mel, I know this story, and the payoff's fabulous.
Ignoring all of that, right? And just, here you go, lad. Well done. You got yourself a souvenir. You'll remember forever. There was about 8 seconds left in the game. Kid on our team takes a shot, gets fouled. Yeah? At this point, it is 33 to fucking nothing in basketball. Very clear lane violation on the second free throw. First one did not go in either. Very clear lane violation on the second free throw. So, sure, by the rules,
it's a lane violation.
It's a lane violation. Ball hits the rim. Falls to one of our kids who's the only one in the lane because he was there 2 seconds ago.
Right.
Grabs the ball, clock starts, takes an age to shoot, but shoots, scores. Buzzer beater. Yeah? Ref emphatically waves it off. What a cunt. What a huge dick. No, small dick. What a small dick referee.
Too fucking funny. Rules are the rules.
No, fuck you, mate. There's no goal differential in basketball, right? There's no point differential. It's not a tiebreaker. Let the kid have his 2 points. What's a 31-point win versus a 33-point win? This dude's running down the court, blowing his whistle, waving like doing fucking jazz hands. Fuck you.
Wow, Graham, I really did pull a you and make it all about me in that last segment. We went long. So
now I know what you go through on a regular basis.
Oh, well.
And don't give a shit.
Heard. Thanks. So in the other two matches, the bottom of the league could have seen some changes, but saw none whatsoever. Brighton 1, Watford 1, Sheffield 2, Bournemouth 1. Watford give away another 3 points after having a lead. That's 3 in a row.
They drop another 2 points. You're right. That's and an own goal at that. I mean,
I was gonna say you figure out a way to do it in nightmarish fashion at that.
For him, the defense has to talk to him. Somebody has to let him know he has no pressure, right? You assume somebody's going to be running onto that back stick. You assume the guy that crossed the ball is crossing it to somebody.
Yeah, we were watching the game, and Mel says to me, she goes, "How does he just kick it into his own net?" And I'm like, "Well, because he assumes there's someone behind him that will put it in the net."
Now let's get the correct quote. Wow, that was a terrific goal. Oh.
Now, that being said, he should never have attacked it with his left foot at all. His body shape was all wrong.
Yeah, you go with the right. You go with the foot
right.
that's sweeping
And
it away.
He's a right back.
Yeah,
He should be more adept with his right foot.
right.
But
Just terrible.
and just continue it on or put it out for a corner, what have you. He went at it with his left, which kept it on target, and it really is just a shame for him.
Now
I wrote his name down. I can't fucking find it.
Now the other thing here too is for Watford. Here was your opportunity to get some distance. Here was your opportunity to get yourself clear. These were all 3 games that could have helped you. Yes, go ahead.
It's Mariappa.
Mariappa.
That was a defender.
Well done.
Yeah,
There you go.
Find it. Sorry.
You found it. Now
I
you
did
inserted
find
it.
it.
You like how I was pausing there for you? I
Yeah,
kept
now
building.
I'm back.
So, but there was those 3 games to go ahead and get it. Well, fuck you. Your next 2 are United and Liverpool.
You fucked it up.
Yep, there was your chance.
Now, you know what?
There was your chance. You got yourself out of the zone,
Uh-huh.
and you let yourself slide right back in with 3 leads. 3 games in a row, 3 leads. One of them was a 2-goal fucking lead in the first half that you gave up in the first fucking half.
Yeah. We're talking about you again?
No, just talking about Watford and how they did it. But
I think a lot of this has to do with the Match of the Day interview, where legend has it that Nigel Pearson was trekking through Latvia, I think it was, in Transylvania. Which I think is in Latvia. I might be wrong about that.
Stared down a pack of wild wolves.
Yeah, and fought off like 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, of course he
Kind of
did.
thing.
Ripped out one of their hearts, didn't he?
Something like that. And grilled it himself over a fire on a stick.
Yes.
And
Or just the heat of his manlyhood. He held out his hand, and the piece of meat began to roast on its own.
Nah. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, Nigel Pearson seems like the guy that you would give a Q-tip and a pocket knife to, and he'd build you a fucking mall if you put him in the woods for 2 months.
Bear Grylls wishes he was
He was Nigel Pearson. Well, not after this interview. And it seems like now we know why the steel is falling out of Watford's ass. Because it wasn't wolves, it was dogs. And he ran like hell.
Yep.
Did not fight a single one of them all.
Said he was terrified.
Yeah, all while wearing a turtleneck and glasses.
Yep.
So, very non-threatening, almost looked like a librarian or high school science teacher. And no disrespect to either of those professions. But you don't think of those people as being quite hard.
Right.
And dispelled the rumors that it was a pack of wolves. It was 5 or 6 dogs. Didn't fight. He ran.
It was sheepdogs at that. It wasn't
Right.
even like wild dogs. It was like dogs that herd a sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now Watford find themselves with no spine.
Yeah. And
Coincidence? I think not.
the next 2, they could find themselves flat out fucked depending on what
Absolutely.
other teams do. They
100%.
really can. They could you could see 20th and then suddenly 19th wrapped up real fucking quick in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
You know?
Tune in to Injury Time on our Patreon for the next joke that involves dogs, peanut butter, and Watford getting fucked.
I don't even know it. I'm interested to see where your brain's going, and I'm going to hold you to that. A little bit about Brighton. Glenn Murray gets the start. I like when Graham Potter was asked about it, he was like, look, he goes, I've got a veteran player who I know only has so much legs. I'm going to use him when he is of the most important to me. Now
And
he's
proven. I mean, he played very well last season, yeah?
And well, he's played well for them for a career. I mean, he's what 100 goals for them over his career.
Something like that, yeah.
It's like
Close
I mean,
to
he's
that, yeah.
he's their striking legend essentially.
Yep, no, for sure.
But
And stayed with them for a number of years.
But like Mapai hasn't been scoring. What do? You put him on the bench. You let him think about it a little bit. You got a great wily presence that can get out there and get it done for you. And now the one concerning fact for Brighton is they are at precisely 1 point less than they were last year right now. And last year's team was that steely reserve defensive
and stayed
side.
up by a point or 2, maybe.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, so that's got to be a bit unnerving. I mean,
But to be fair to them, honestly,
to be fair,
Ezekiel Scalotto should have had a penalty, I think.
I agree. That was definitely a penalty.
I've seen them this season with VAR given for less than that.
Brighton is the luckiest team with VAR this season, so maybe they deserved a little comeback to earth.
A little karma, huh?
Yeah.
There you
Because
go.
I remember this. I forget the stats that they did, but that's what they found. Honestly, it was probably a Liverpool supporter that wanted to make sure that everybody knew that it wasn't Liverpool that was the luckiest team. No, there's one. Brighton has it better off than we do.
Yeah.
But I mean, for both these teams, Brighton, great, you get a point. We kind of talked about it the other day. Like Brighton needed to get a win, they didn't get a win. You drop your vape. Go ahead, keep on going. Go ahead and get that vape there, Killer. I know you need your nicotine.
I mean, I dropped my phone. He drops his vape. We are having a great time. I might now have to have some more alcohol.
Heard.
I'm gearing up for something in particular, though.
Got it. So, for Brighton, they really needed to get a win, but at least it's a point. At some point, they got to get a fucking win for this calendar year, which they still have
don't
not done.
Yeah. I do want a quick mention before we move on, and I know we need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Decore's goal, brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, great goal.
Almost a carbon copy of Richarlison's.
Yeah.
Except when he cut inside, the ball bobbled a little bit, and he ended up on his laces instead of his instep and rifling it
it was
into
a
that far
rocket.
side. Yeah.
It was a
so
rocket.
It was almost the exact same goal, except Decore's was a bit more emphatic.
Yep.
And that was it. And then Watford scored on themselves, which seems to be a running theme this season.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I just don't get.
Just figuring out a way to just fucking bottle it. I mean, 3 in a row, and they figure out a way to bottle all 3 of them.
It's not good. And Will Hughes looks like Casper.
He
the
is.
literally whitest human being I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
I think his hair is white. I think he is white.
Move over, Pete Buttigieg. You are no longer the whitest person on the planet. Matt Hughes is.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's terrible.
So moving on to the next one. Blades and Cherries. Really crazy start to it, wasn't it? Both teams really chasing after the ball. Really fast, wild start.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. This should have been a 6-point. At the beginning of the season, I would have told you this was going to be a 6-pointer. And it was played like one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Bournemouth aren't creating enough chances. I'm really starting to worry for them. They had 2 shots on target.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, both of them were good chances. Obviously, the goal from Callum Wilson to open it up. And then Ryan Fraser later on, which Dean Henderson was well equal to.
Yep.
Fantastic save from him. But Bournemouth just aren't doing it for me. Sheffield United settled into the game. They remained organized. They remained steadfast. And, again, not another shot on target until Ryan Fraser's chance later on. It was John Egan of Sheffield that began the fracas.
Right.
Ruckus. I
Ruckus.
think I put 2 things together. I think fracas is a word and ruckus is a word.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not it was a fracas because it involved
Yes.
Chris Wilder.
Just make shit up. It's never stopped me before.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. So Dan Gosling goes down after a bit of a touch from John Egan. I didn't think there was really much in it. I was fine with the referee letting it go. Ball ends up going out of play by the Sheffield bench, right? Andrew Sermon.
Yep.
Apparently, Chris Wilder was trying to preach a sermon to Sermon as he was walking over. And Sermon took exception to it, gave him a little push. Dean Wilder pushed him back like he's squaring up with him at the pub. To which assistant coaches, the 4th official, security from the tunnel, and every Sheffield player on the pitch running over to get involved and pull Sermon away. I felt bad for Diego Rico, who looked to be trying to calm things down. He actually pulled Sermon back and pushed him off and had his hands up.
Right.
Not to push Wilder, but just in front of him. And he got yanked back hard by somebody.
And then sees yellow. Didn't he?
And
Rico saw
no, Sermon was the only one that saw yellow.
Okay.
Wilder saw yellow as well.
Right, of course.
But yeah, and so Wilder was also held back. It's still going nuts. Still reaching over, trying to get to people. And his assistant coaches, the security, and his players ended up holding him back. but I thought that was fucking brilliant.
It was the liveliest part of the match.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant. It was fantastic. Good for Billy Sharp to score again.
Yep.
After being dropped. And John Lundstrom, came off the bench.
Former
with
Evertonian.
Wonderful feet. He was given a pass at a very weird angle as he was running in on it. It wasn't exactly a cutback. It was almost a square ball from the edge of the 6 while he was running at pace. Took the touch well with his right foot and immediately struck with his left and caught the goalkeeper off guard, I think.
Yeah.
Just struck it early and he wasn't prepared for it.
So we'll save this for another time.
And late again.
We'll save this discussion for another time just because I want to kind of keep things rolling here. But Sheffield now finds themselves 2 points behind a Champions League spot, and the schedule is really, really favorable. So we'll definitely need to talk about that soon, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Sam. So I didn't expect us to go 45 minutes on 3 games, but we did. When given lots of time, we were like, oh, how are we going to make this show? What are we going to do to fill it out? And boy, did we find a way to fill it out.
Yeah, about Everton.
Yeah, makes me feel very good to do that for once.
Pro Everton agenda was a
Correct.
half hour.
So
Finally.
much.
God, where's Alan? Email in. Say something, for fuck's sake.
I wanted to do something a little fun here. While dicking around on Twitter over the weekend, I found this fabulous thread that I wanted to read to you, describing the clubs in the Premier League as rooms in a house. Now, this isn't somebody that follows us. It was just retweeted by someone that we follow and that follows us. And I saw it, and I want to give credit here. It is at FTBL Pulisic, so obviously probably a Chelsea supporter, probably
Or
American.
Christian Pulisic fan that
Right.
likes Chelsea simply because he's there.
The guy is simply known as Luke, but I wanted to make sure I gave credit to the right
Is
person.
that how he pronounces his name?
Luke?
Yeah.
I do not know. Should we ever have the opportunity to meet him, I'd love to find out.
Luke, I
So-
am your father.
All right, so here we go.
You're his fodder or father?
Father.
Exactly. Hello, mother. Hello, father.
All right, we want to get this segment done. How does this show end up being an hour and a half? We start doing Camp Hiawatha songs. That's how that fucking shit happens.
Camp Hiawatha. Yes.
All right, the Premier League clubs as rooms in a house. This is done in alphabetical order, so we start with Arsenal. The library, a very quiet place, full of old and useless books. Desperately needs to be cleaned and sorted out. No one wants to be there.
Except when we want to fire a manager.
Yeah.
Then we're the loudest ground in the Premier League.
Yep, exactly. Next up, Aston Villa. The staircase goes up, now going down.
Son of a bitch, it's accurate.
Bournemouth, the conservatory. Very Tory. For those who don't know, the conservatory people are called Tories in, so Republicans essentially in America. They're called Tories in.
Also the opposite of Brighton, which is very, very Labour Party, very liberal.
Yes. So Bournemouth, the conservatory, very Tory, seem to spend a lot of money on such useless things. Brighton. Now, Brighton is important to note. You need to remember Brighton because then there is a follow-up with that. The Garden engages with frequent scraps with the next-door neighbor. Rest of the street doesn't understand it all. Burnley, the utility room, a workman's room, proper English, washing machine, boring as fuck.
Fair enough.
Let's see here. Chelsea, the kids' bedroom. Needs somewhere to put the kids. Pleasant. Sadly, they get beat at home.
Well, a lot.
A lot,
you said.
yes.
A
They
lot.
get beat at home a lot.
Now, what I'd say about this one is, wouldn't Chelsea be the main house and the kids' bedroom be every other club in Europe, but mostly in Holland?
Yeah, that's true.
And you send the kids to the bedroom?
Fabulous. All right, so now the follow-up. Crystal Palace, the neighbor's garden. Too loud. Needed to go outside. Tries to start fights with next-door neighbor.
That's true. Brad did that when he was in studio, I think.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I love it. It's because it's like your next door neighbor that you're the nemesis with, and they could give a fuck about you, but like they're your nemesis, so
Yeah.
they're like the worst ever. Had an old man that used to mow one strip into my yard. I guarantee you he didn't even know he was fucking doing it. Would drive me nuts. I'd draw like zigzags on the side of his hill because fuck you, my yard, keep your lawnmower out of it.
You know he's doing it just so you mow your lawn, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, probably. So next up, Everton, the basement, always in the shadow of the bedroom. Dark as fuck, usually depressing. Turn on a light and it's a decent place. Leighton Baines lives here.
That's funny.
I would say that is 1,000% an accurate description of Everton.
That's pretty funny.
Leicester City, the wine cellar. Tory, ridiculously Tory.
Yeah. Exciting addition.
There we go. Ages like a fine wine. Johnny Evans is the case in point.
This is not accurate for that one, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either, because they're kind of a working man's
The rest
team.
of them has been pretty spot on.
But that one
Wouldn't it be instead of the wine cellar? Wouldn't it be the bar? Because that's where the Red Bull and vodka is.
Oh, that's where Jamie F. and Vardy would be.
There's no bar in a wine cellar. You keep expensive shit in a wine cellar. I'd say Leicester's more like the Shed.
I gotta say, my uncle, bougie as fuck in his big ass house,
Uh-huh.
and he keeps all of his liquor in the wine cellar.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
All right, so the add-on to Everton, because
Strange.
Everton is in the basement directly below the bedroom, leads us into Liverpool, the bedroom where the magic happens. Exciting. Not much success recently, but the prestige is coming back.
Liverpool got the blue pills.
Heard the blue pills. Jurgen Klopp equals Viagra. Heard. Man City, the secret room, very new. No one knew it was here before some rich man stumbled into it. Although it has just been found out, and nothing special anymore.
That's funny.
All right, Manchester United, the panic room, terrified, in turmoil. Enough said.
It also may be terminal as well.
Yes, terminal.
As long as Ed Woodward's
Man,
there.
if only I could read off a printed page, that would be good.
Ed
wouldn't it?
Woodward, the
Yeah.
cancer of a football club.
Newcastle, the kitchen. A house isn't a house without a good kitchen. Essential, working class, legendary, good memories.
You remember that roast we made 12 years ago before Mike Ashley came in here and started running the show?
Started puking in fireplaces and cooking up never-ending bowls of pasta. Fucking prick. Norwich City, the games room. Just a bit of fun. Don't take it seriously. It'll be gone soon. Lots of people come in here and pick up easy wins.
Fair enough.
Manchester City didn't.
Fair enough.
Sheffield United, the study. Non-stop work. Appreciated by everyone. Hard work pays off. Proper working class.
Very true.
This next one, bloody fucking brilliant.
All right.
Southampton, the corridor. Long, boring. Just a straight path to the bedroom. Because all the players from Southampton eventually end up
Go to Liverpool.
in Liverpool and
Yeah.
have success there. Tottenham, the garage. Easy access for Mourinho's bus. Not the most exciting club anymore. Been the same for years. Does the job.
I would argue they don't do the job.
Yeah, because they never win.
Anything.
All right, next one.
Fucking anything.
Heard anything? Watford, the mud room. Apparently, this is a room. Not arsed about.
No, hold on. Excuse me. Listen, you've been in plays.
Yeah.
Okay? What you wrote here is apparently this is a room?
Very good. Sorry. Not arsed about it. Dirty. Needs to go. Chris, Smokey, apologize in advance, but this is the most spot-on assessment ever. West Ham, the bathroom, full of shit. Sold their soul for a literal shithole. I'm sorry, boys. I tend to think you'd agree with me right now in the current state of affairs.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
And finishing up with Wolverhampton, pretty spot on as well. The living room. Lively. Good atmosphere. Great place to be. That's pretty much what they are right now, right?
Yeah.
Pretty comfortable, right in the middle, doing their thing. Pretty happy-go-lucky, huh? So I thought
Speaking of things right in the middle,
Uh-oh. What do we got here?
I have a question for you. Excuse me. I'm so giddy with excitement.
Uh-huh.
We're not going to talk about it, per se. We are going to talk about all of those FA Cup fixtures on our FA Cup preview show coming out in a couple of weeks.
Right.
But in the Newcastle-Rochdale replay,
Ting Ting.
did you see when Saint-Maximin scored the winner,
Mm-hmm.
the camera pan to the away Newcastle fans?
Uh-huh.
And did you see the stand almost take off with the old dick copter? One of the Newcastle fans got his wang out and started swinging it around like a helicopter.
So clearly you didn't catch the reference I did there. There's a comedian by the name of Joe Coy, and he talks about his son when his son was like 2 years old,
Okay.
and that he buys his son all these toys, and the only toy he's interested in, his dick.
Yeah.
And he runs around the house going, Ting Ting, Daddy, 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 Ting Ting, Ting Ting.
I think you
That-
may have
I-
showed me this before a long
And
time ago on YouTube.
As the guy comes running down for the video and starts swinging it around, I'm just sitting there in my head going, Ting Ting, Ting Ting.
I cannot for the life of me figure out why this was an acceptable celebration. I see taking your shirt off. I see, it doesn't make the most sense, but it makes more sense than
Was
whipping your fucking
Was it
dick out.
decorated? Did it have like
No.
a little flag on the end?
Uh-uh.
or
No,
anything?
just
Actually, I-
helicoptered his dick. Just like,
Yeah,
pull
just
down the
whoop,
pits. Just pull down the pits just enough for the dick to come out. Just
Uh-huh.
whoop, 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 whoop. Just
Yeah. You
started-
couldn't even see if like he shaved an arrow into it or anything. There was nothing. It was just whapping his dick around there.
ready for takeoff,
Yeah. Oh, so funny.
Captain Ting Ting.
And honestly, the perfect way to cap off Newcastle being in the 5th round of the FA Cup for the first time since Mike Ashley took over.
Producer Mel just caught the video as you heard her in the background with her mic off going,
Oh. Yeah. It just swinging it.
Yeah, just decided to run down the steps and just whip his fucking dick out.
Also, as most of you know, Big Sam and I will be traveling to the merry old country of England.
Keep your pants on.
I will not.
We will not be keeping our pants on.
At a place that does not matter to me with someone else's season ticket in hand,
Don't
I
wear
will
a DU shirt.
be pulling my dick out and helicoptering somewhere. So we will make sure that you all know what games we're attending so you can make sure that you watch them on television and see if you can see me run down the stairs with my wang out in whatever section I'm in.
My God.
Yeah,
That covers it. I don't have much more I could say.
there we go.
It's time to tell you what little we know. It is prediction time. The chicken is back to 500. Pat's game wasn't even played, so we're just going to hold that bet over till they finally play the replay, and he'll hit or not hit.
It's a lot of admin.
Yeah, I can keep up with it. That one I can do. You are back to losing ways, but Daddy hit big for $600. You're at negative 1487. You are now $1,400 behind me, Sam.
All right, that's fine.
So, what wackadoodle shit are you picking this week? You got to
before
feed the cup of losers.
Yeah, first this time.
Does it say I'm worse than Sam?
No, it says, Watford, what the fuck? I had faith in you and you let me down. So as I was doing my research for the bet, which is pretty much the only research I do for the show, was that if I had bet all 6 underdogs, just a straight win this
Right.
weekend, anyone with the highest, well, Wolves and Leicester both had a positive return, but Leicester's was a higher of a positive return. So all 6 underdogs, just a straight win in a parlay. Win.
A win?
Just a
win.
straight win in a parlay would have netted me plus $1,938,968.
Go ahead, put down a hunchie. Go for it.
As tempting as this is to just win the season now, I won't because it wouldn't be fun for all of you listeners. So instead, sorry, Mel, and as much as it pains me, I will be picking a 3-way parlay that includes Tottenham to win, Son to score anytime, and Arsenal to win at plus 390.
Okay.
390.
390. That'll
Yep.
still put you over a G behind me.
I got 13 games left, my friend.
Yeah, you really think that's
Well-
going to happen, huh?
No, we still have... Yeah, 13.
Very good. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to our
Big
boy.
Sam's Lock of the Week.
That's not me yet, our
I
boy.
thought you said you're going to hold off until next week.
Well, he still has a bet for this week.
all right. Well,
He's a
then,
degenerate. He was probably betting the XFL this fucking weekend.
well, then here we go.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Do not edit any of that out.
Did you see me write anything down? Nope.
Well, I did not win, lose, or draw last week because the match getting postponed. So this weekend, thank God, we have what I think Sam has referred to, and I quote, maybe the best team of all time playing in the prime time slot on Saturday. Fuck yourself, Pat. Yes, that's right. Liverpool's playing dreadful Norwich City, or Notch City, as some of us like to call it. It won't be cheap. Liverpool is favored by a goal and a half at minus 125. So let's go big. I'm going to put down 250 to win 200. Have a great week, guys. Congrats on not having to do any Malort shots. That's only because your two teams didn't play. So that would be Pat's. But you know what? What's really important to know, Sam? I'm back, baby. I'm fucking back. Daddy hit big. I am now only down $67.
You want me to play it again?
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
All he did was hold his hands up, and then as it went through, wanked himself off.
Every time. Every time.
20% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
Are we back up to that?
And 100% of the time, you all are going to disappoint me. All right, let's get to it. I could risk a lot and guarantee like a win, say like what Pat's doing with Liverpool, and just risk money. But I kind of want to go for something that's going to have a little bit more ump to it. So I'm going to go with a single goal scorer this week. I'm going to pick Jamie effin Vardy to score against Wolves at a plus 160, which would then put me up just a hair under $100, Sammy.
Congratulations.
It's better than you.
Comma, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want
Heard.
from me?
I just want you to acknowledge that I know how to pick games and you don't.
You know what's funny?
Uh-huh.
I should do an extra 100 on what I said before. And then I just won't bet for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not going to do it.
You're
though.
not going
I'm
to hit
gonna
it,
do
but you know you're not going to hit it. There's no way in hell
No,
Norwich
just
beats
beat Liverpool.
Exactly.
Not a chance. Yeah.
Now, that was a pretty good segment, but we give you more. We give you Kitty the Chicken.
All right. Well, Sam does his own little private dance party. Want you to know that Kitty was a touch annoyed to only be at 500 and wants to turn things around and get on a run. So this week, I gave her Arsenal hosting Newcastle.
All right. Come on, you little bitch. Tell me what you got.
So Kitty showed me a picture of her with Jay-Z and John Rotten London in the recording studio.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Got to hear what they were doing, though.
Johnny Rotten Lydon, not Linden, by the way.
Whatever. Lydon,
Sam, do you
London.
know who that is?
Johnny Rotten.
I've heard him as Johnny Rotten.
I'll give
Do you
you
know
a
who-
hint. The guy at the game was wheeling it around. Sex Pistols.
Oh,
Get it? Sex
I do.
Pistol, his dick.
Yeah, his dick.
Yeah.
Helicopter.
So, the three of them working on a passion project of the chant, what do you think of Tottenham?
Shit.
That's a pretty good chant. So, Kitty is going with the Gunners, siding with you for the win.
What do you think of shit?
What?
What do you think of shit?
I don't know what. Tottenham?
Yeah.
Is that how it goes, really?
Yeah.
All right, you want to do it all together for me?
Sure. What do you think of Tottenham?
Shit.
What do you think of shit? Tottenham.
And
Thank
on
you.
that note, everyone remember to always gamble legally and responsibly.
That's all right. Hey, Tottenham. We hate Tottenham. Hey, Tottenham. We hate Tottenham. Hey, Tottenham. We hate Tottenham. We are Tottenham. Haters. That was the rest of it, by the way.
I told her when I wrote that little bit that you were going to totally go into the song.
Yep.
And that you would get it immediately.
Do you know
Even
why?
though you wouldn't get who the hell Johnny Rotten Lydon was.
I did know that. I just wasn't top of mind. Told you I'm priming for something else. You'll find out in my closing statements.
All right, cool. Well, tell me what happened with DU.
We lost.
Yeah, we did.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was.
I was in goal again.
Didn't go so well.
No. You actually yanked me halfway through the second half.
I was trying
A little
to let
more
you,
than halfway.
I was
through
trying
the
to let
second
you run. I was trying to give you a run on the field.
Yeah,
Chris looked at me and went, "Hey, I might as well go in the net for a while."
half. I needed it.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
Let's talk a little bit about that second goal.
Which second goal?
The one that was on your foot that suddenly wasn't on your foot and that was suddenly in the back of the net.
Oh. I was picking a pass, and from the feel of the ball on my foot, I think it would have been a good one if one of their strikers was not directly in front of me, sticking his foot out, that I carooned it off of into the back of the net, of my own net.
You're now good enough to play for Watford.
It was pitiful.
Goalkeeping no so easy now, is it, there, killer?
No, sir, it's not.
Come a long way since sure. I can do this shit. They're just lucky they scored that one goal in the end of the first half. I'll throw pitching shutouts left and right. I know what I'm doing.
It was bad.
Very bad.
I had a very bad game.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Jake comes back this week. Already said that he was in.
That's going to be huge.
It is.
Yeah, it's tough, particularly in indoor when there's only 6 players on the pitch. When you don't have your goalie,
It's the hardest
it's
thing to
fucking
be
hard.
without. Yeah. It's the hardest thing to be without, for sure.
I mean, you can throw in a guest keeper, but at the end of the day, that keeper doesn't know your team. He doesn't know your. It's just.
And we don't know him.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Like, Jake, 15 yards out, wants me to let a shot go in.
Right. Because he'll see it.
Because he'll be
save
able
it.
to see it. Right.
Yeah.
Where this guy might not. I didn't want people to do that.
Yeah.
My thing was like, they can't score if they can't shoot. Fucking get in front of everything.
Right.
And we didn't.
All right, so that about wraps it up, boys and girls. We successfully went over an hour only talking about 3 games. Good job, Sam. We love the sound of our own voice, don't we?
Are you talking to yourself?
Yep.
We did 40 minutes on your fucking team.
Yeah, we did. Felt good to finally do that, too.
A 3-1 win.
Taste of your own medicine.
Ugh, pitiful.
We talked to Brad, too, so give it up.
Well, that's true.
All right, any parting words?
Yes.
Yes.
Thursday show this week, ladies and gentlemen. You will be delighted to hear that I've been priming myself this entire show, if you couldn't tell by my looseness here towards the end, that the transfer recap is coming up. Our most listened to show of the last 3 2 years. We've only been doing it 2 years.
So
year
if
and a half.
if you're
actually.
new new to the show, what we typically do with the transfer recap is Sam Graham gets good and proper pissed. Pardon me, and then reads through the entire transfer window. The first time he did it from his phone, where he couldn't read it, couldn't see it, and it was nothing but Czechoslovakian and Eastern European names that he completely massacred, while myself and Chef Bentley sat here and just giggled. And I believe Chef Bentley, with his head against the mic, just went, "He's still going."
He did.
So we're going to go ahead and do injury time next to give you more time to get primed up. And everybody will get the gift that keeps on giving, Sam Graham's transfer report.
Yeah. One quick thing on Chef Bentley, because we haven't mentioned it yet. They've been open for now about 2 weeks. If you are in the Bridgeport, Connecticut area, make sure, or in the immediate area surrounding, provided you have a car, drive there. If you don't have a car,
There's a couple
fucking
areas
Uber.
right. I'm familiar with Bridgeport.
Surf versus Turf. His restaurant just opened up. Doing American cuisine. They've got a ton of seafood, a ton of land food. Surf versus Turf. You got to pick which team you're on.
Steaks.
Packing flavors daily.
That's right. So you've got burgers, you've got chicken, you've got crab legs, you've got everything you can want. One of the biggest things I'm excited to try when I make my way up to Connecticut is their Build-A-Boil. So you could pick the ingredients you want in a seafood boil, and they'll boil it for you.
Fun.
Yeah. And then they also have a Surf and Turf butter. So, which I assume, him being from down this way for a lot of his life, he was born up that way, but he lived here a lot of his life.
Old Bay.
Ton of Old Bay in it, I imagine. And taking the good people of Connecticut and showing proper Southern cooking.
Speaking of Old Bay, we're going to have to find that new Old Bay hot sauce, too, that just came out. That needs to be a part of my life.
Ooh, my wife, I just showed my wife Mumbo sauce.
Oh, you
Changed her
finally
life.
introduced her to the mumbo sauce.
Changed her life.
That's a big DC thing, everybody. It's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of like a sweet and sour teriyaki kind of sauce with a kick.
I don't know about
Like
teriyaki.
not teriyaki, a sweet and sour sauce, like a barbecue meets
Yeah,
sweet
sweet and
sauce.
sour, yeah.
with a
And
with a
hot
lot of
sauce in it.
spice
Yeah,
to it.
it's awesome. Ah.
It's a great like
You can't
soul,
beat mumbo sauce.
honestly, it's like a soul food sauce.
Yeah,
Really,
you
it's
can't
probably the best way
beat
to
mumbo
describe it.
sauce.
And it's freaking rock
But
star.
yeah,
on
so if
wings.
you're up there, Surf versus Turf in Bridgeport, Connecticut, check it out. Chef Bentley, that's our boy. Tell him we sent you. Say hi. He's not going to give you a discount or anything, but just tell him we said hello because he doesn't answer his text because he works so much.
Exactly. All right. Well, that about wraps it up, boys and girls. Thank you so much for joining us. Next up is Injury Time, where we're going to preview the other 6 games from the quote-unquote Week 26 Part A, Part B. And Sam, tell the good people where they could get in touch. Oh, you need to fill up some more?
Transfer recap after that. Get excited.
All right. So how do people find us on Patreon?
Sure. www.patreon.com/DUfootballshow. That's Patreon, Patreon.
Excellent. All right. Till next week, everybody.
Good night.
We will not be keeping our pants on. Captain Ting Ting.